flooding in Louisiana, a tornado in Texas, a hurricane in Florida. Name a national disaster in the past few years, and chances are John Jonckers was there to help.
You end up with a lot of good feelings of whenever you've assisted someone and been able to help them through the worst time in their life.
As a registered nurse and Red Cross Health Services volunteer, John works in shelters and in the field supporting those who are recovering from a disaster. He recently retired after 36 years in the Air Force, much of it as a medic. Volunteering for the Red Cross seemed a perfect fit.
Being able to help people, not just in the local area, but throughout the state, and working with the people, you have such a variety of people that you work with that surprise you of how much knowledge that they bring.
In the 2 years since becoming a volunteer, John has been deployed for the Red Cross so much he almost missed helping after a disaster back home in Spokane. Almost.
About a year and a half ago in November, when we had the major windstorm hit Spokane, John, at that time, I learned later, was flying back from a deployment, I think down in Texas.
Oh, Jesus.
He flew back literally during the windstorm, so in the wind and that happening. John flew in, landed, and the next morning is really when our community could see the level of destruction, the level of need, and what was going on. So I showed up at the office. We had no power here. You know, our staff started coming in. We started getting the calls of, you know, what does the community need? What shelters do we have to open? And all of a sudden we hear this knock at our front door. And there's John standing there, having just returned from, I'm sure it was a 3-week deployment, challenging work, standing there saying, all right, what are we doing? You know, how are we helping? Where do you need me?
John also volunteers for the Medical Reserve Corps with the same enthusiasm and professionalism for which he's become known.
John is also willing to jump in and do just about anything and go anywhere at any time.
I have been blessed. I have been blessed a lot, and all I can say is that if you're blessed, you need to give back to bless others.
With his attitude and willingness to serve, the only complaint his colleagues have is there aren't more of him to go around.
I would say the biggest problem I have with John is sometimes when I want him to do something, he's gone with the Red Cross.